call on PENRO of Agusan del Sur, Bantay Danao community-based initiative in Agusan Marsh Wildlife Sanctuary.
Already shared. Good afternoon to each and everyone. My presentation is about the Bantay Danao, a community-based initiative in Agusan Marsh Wildlife Sanctuary in Agusan del Sur, Mindanao. Agusan Marsh is a catch basin. It's covering 110,069 hectares in Agusan del Sur. It is also a wildlife sanctuary covering 6 municipalities for about 40,954 hectares based on RA 11038. Within the Agusan Marsh Wildlife Sanctuary has 4 CABT areas occupying more or less 20,000 hectares, and 60% of the populations belong to the Manubo ethno-linguistic tribe. Agusan Marsh Wildlife Sanctuary aims to protect and conserve the biological diversity and protect nationally significant species, biotic communities, or primary features of nature. Because of this, it garners some recognition. It became the 44th ASEAN Heritage Site, a Ramsar Site number 1009, as wetland of international importance, an important bird areas in the Philippines, a conservation priority area, and part of the Eastern Mindanao Biodiversity Corridor. As Agusan Marsh being a wetland of international importance, it is not exempted by some issues and concern that pose big challenge to the management of the marsh. Both natural processes and anthropogenic activities continue to threaten the ecological integrity and core values provided by it. Institutional constraints and management weaknesses that contribute to the ecological degradation of the marsh are as follows. There is an overlapping mandates among institutions involved in the management of the area. It should have a synergistic implementation of plans. Protected Area Management Office also lacks manpower that will support in the protection and conservation the program of the marsh. It has also poor public awareness and lack of appreciation of the ecological values of the marsh, a poor stakeholder participation in decision-making, weak planning implementations, and policy environment as exemplified by the issuance of conflicting and inappropriate tenure instrument. As we can see, there are tenure instrument issued in the strict protected zone areas of the protected areas, especially the peatland areas. And lastly, the poor knowledge or database on which to base the management decisions. To resolve issues relating to a further degradation of Agusan Marsh Wildlife Sanctuary, the provincial government took the lead or initiate for the organization of the Bantay Danao as one of the initiatives in seeking platform of convergence in the management of Agusan Marsh. So these Bantay Danao, they are voluntary in nature. Yeah, this would ensure ownership initiatives by the community. So Bantay Danao, from the word Bantay means guard and Danao means lake. It also answered the need for the manpower in patrolling and enforcement activities of the PASO office since 2014. And it has, as of now, it increases into 200 members of the Manobo ethno-linguistic group who are fisher folks and farmers, while some of them are former violators. They are recognized through barangay and municipal resolutions, as well as deputized by DENR as well as BFAR. These Bantay Danaos performs a very important functions in the community. So they conduct information education campaign with the mandated agencies, the local government units, as well as the PASO office about environmental laws, importance of Agusan Marsh Wildlife Sanctuary in the area of jurisdiction. They also serves an extension arm of the PAMO office, the local government units, in conducting enforcement activities like surveillance, apprehensions and confiscations of illegal gadgets, surveillance and illegal poaching, as even a treasure hunting. No, so the serves also, since they were trained, no, they are conducted a wildlife rescue for wild birds, migratory birds, soft-shelled, the endangered soft-shelled turtle, the bats, as well as newly sightings, tarsier. No, tarsier. They also involved in the clean-up lakes as well as tree planting activities within the protected area. For the important initiatives of the provincial government, so to ensure that there is really participation among stakeholders, the barangay and municipal resolutions, the barangay and municipal pass resolutions for recognitions of Bantay Danao. As we know that the protected area comprises the 6 municipalities and 38 barangays. So each barangays, 38 barangays recognize their Bantay Danao. Also, the provincial government passed an ordinance institutionalizing the Bantay Danao. In support for the Bantay Danao, PAMB passed a resolution for the deputation of Bantay Danao and the transboundary patrolling, in the sense that Bantay Danao could now apprehend or do patrolling activities in the neighboring barangays or municipalities within the protected area. Bantay Danao also ensures that there is an enforcement plan crafted in collaboration with the mandated agencies. And as is DC, the province has in Agusan Del Sur Environment and Sustainable Development Council also passed a resolution requesting the DENR to use endemic trees for the demarcation of boundaries of the protected area. Municipal government also within the protected area passed an ordinance declaring some of their lakes as a fish sanctuary, to ensure that there is always sources of fish in the area. As also in support to the illegal activities, to control the illegal activity, the municipal government passed a municipal ordinance against electrofishing, prohibiting the use of electrofishing gadgets, using or improvise electrofishing gadgets, which is common in the locality. Also, before the declaration, since the protected areas was officially declared in 2018, before 2018, the provincial government initiated this local conservation area. So each municipalities, the 6 municipalities, crafted an ordinance for declaring the buffer zone before, now declared as a protected area, as local conservation area, and go beyond that area in order to really conserve or protect what, especially the peatlands within the vicinity of the protected area. Also, a management plan was crafted in support with local government unit. Bantay Danao also, as we go farther onwards, they were recognized or deputized by the BIFAR as fish wardens. In order for them to be capacitated to do their job, Bantay Danao were trained for basic geo-positioning system. For patrolling, they were trained for the declaration of the local conservation area. Bantay Danaos were those who have the capacity, were trained for rapid biodiversity assessment and socio-economic profiling. Since it is a wildlife sanctuary, they were trained for wildlife rescue as well as a yearly orientation about environmental laws. They were also trained how to make affidavit for them to file cases, file complaints, and since basic life support in order to, it's as a multiplier of the DRR, Disaster Risk Management Office, also in their locality. For research development, they are trained. Some of the Bantay Danaos were trained as being as a local researchers, as an enumerator, in fish sampling, as well as they were organized according to people's organization. So they were also trained in their organizational management, leadership training, as well as financial development. For them to sustain their activities, the provincial government at first, since 2015, early of 2015, we provided yearly accident insurance. And now we converted that into life insurance, since death usually occurs in a natural setting. So now the municipalities, in support for our crusade, they provided accident insurance. BIFAR, on the other hand, also provide patrol boats as well as canoes, as well as municipal government and the provincial government. Before, the provincial government only provides fuel and food for patrolling, but now the local government, the municipal and the barangay government shared provide their share also. As to this is not an easy path, though there is crossroads along the way, a rough road since 2014 until now. But as we could see in the slide, we started in 2014 through the at 85 Bantay Danao, but through the years onwards, now 2019 we already have 178, and it's increasing nowadays. Now, so there is a change of leadership in the municipalities, but it increases also the awareness. So every year, though there is an election in 2010, but then it did not hamper the challenge. So the municipal government took also their share in supporting the Bantay Danao in the community as a multiplier in the protected area. With that, there is also an increase with the support. It's not solely on Bantay Danao, but there is a big role. Bantay Danao plays a big part in collaborating, educating, as well as doing a role model, serve as the role model. So birds increase of 26%, of the birds, and violators also. There is a decreasing trend of reported violations. So from 200 in 2016, now in 2019, there is only 14 reports of violated cases or cases of violations in Agusan Marsh. And based on BIFAR's report from 2014 to 2017, it increases, fish catch increases, but since logistic-wise, we did not cover the 2018 and 2019. Then BIFAR now, in collaboration with BIFAR, from January to July, fish catch increases by almost 20%. Conservation, as they say, cannot work without livelihood support. No? So since there are former violators and there are farmers, so we provide, in order for them to continue their work, to encourage them, to uplift, and to build confidence in the community, we provide, the provincial government provide food for work or quick impact measures, like reforestation projects, lake cleanups, rehabilitations of dead lakes, for them also to rehabilitate that into a fishing ground. We do cash for work, just like as of now, the Agusan Del Sur has different weather patterns. There are lake communities that continuous flooding, see almost 10 months flooding. So with that, we provide cash for work for them. So development of gardens through use of water hyacinth serves as a floating garden. So we also train them for handicraft making. Since water hyacinth is very common in Agusan Marsh, so we train them how to make slippers. In fact, they were able to sell that in trade fairs. We use endemic trees, katmon and libas, as jam, cookies, as well as vinegar, and water hyacinth as briquettes. We provide also fishing gears to them, fish pond support, just as also as Brass Park establishment. A significant impact on these endeavors is from 2020, there is an decrease of poverty incidence from 2012, CBMS data from 2012 to 2018. So from 2012, we have poverty incidence in Agusan Marsh 51.67%, and it decreases into 42.99%. So with the increasing population in the Marsh from 23,000 household to 28,000 household, poverty incidence decreases. So this is a good inputs or a good data that Bantay Danao initiatives or contributions plays very much a big role in Agusan in the protection and conservation, thus providing sufficient supply of fishes in Agusan Marsh Wildlife Sanctuary. For the sustainability of this project, the Bantay Danao, provincial government initiated the institutionalization by providing through an ordinance, and to provide yearly funds for the operation of the Bantay Danao. Also, the municipal as well as the barangay provide also a yearly support for the Bantay Danao. The provincial government also now crafted a memorandum of agreement with DNR, LGUs, and CSOs, as well as the Bantay Danao Association, to properly identify its roles and functions and to ensure financial and technical support. For easy implementation, the Bantay Danao Manual of Operations and Enforcement Plan was developed, emphasizing the convergence and complementations of roles of the IPs, LGUs, and other mandated bodies. There is also provisions of incentives for Bantay Danao, as well as resource mobilization to support the projects of the MLGUs, BLGUs, and CATI holders, as well as yearly budget allocations. As of now, the provincial government tries to improve or encourage by having incentives seeking for the best Bantay Danao for this year ends. It also empowers continuous training mechanisms or providing trainings on environmental laws and other biology or environmental friendly enterprises, promotes the sustainability of the Bantay Danao as well as the conservation protection of Agusan Marsh. With that, thank you very much for the opportunity to share with what we have as Bantay Danao in Agusan Marsh, province of Agusan Del Sur. Thank you very much and good afternoon.
Thank you, Agusan Del Sur, Ms. Acupado.